Well, good morning.
Good morning, Jesse. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, how are you this morning?
I am good. I just decorated for the holidays yesterday, so I thought I'd have a festive background.
Same here. I love that our minds are so in sync.
Okay. So you are here. Jesse is the development director at Maine AEYC, and she's here to chat with us about Giving Tuesday and tell us why it's important to give to Maine AEYC. Why should we give? Can you answer that
I
question for us?
absolutely can.
Great.
So, MaineAEYC is working to combat a really serious issue in our state. So, Maine has a huge issue with childcare being affordable, being accessible, being valued. And during the pandemic, we realized how crucial childcare workers are, early childhood educators are, because we didn't have childcare and nobody got to go to work. And so one of the things that I love about my job is that I get to support what our team does. So, I'm not directly out in the field, but Heather is out advocating for better wages, better benefits, more access, affordability, support for childcare and for childcare workers and their organizations, their centers. Morgan and you have been working on professional development and making sure that everybody gets access to the hours that they need, that it's affordable, that it's really good quality, and we're making sure that we cover our diversity, equity, and inclusion in that. And then Tony showed up and all of a sudden is growing Teach to be almost 3 times what it was last year. And we've done some pretty incredible things in the last year, and that's partly due to donors. And it doesn't have to be, this is one of the things that I always try to drive home, is that we're a really small organization. There's 5 staff. We're small compared to some other nonprofits in our area and in our state. And so the fact that we do that much and we have this big of an impact is amazing. But B, when you give, it doesn't so much matter how much you give. If you can give me $1, great. If you can give me, $100, great. If you can give me $1,000, phenomenal. But as we go through this, I want to be able to show corporations, foundations, other larger nonprofits that give money to smaller organizations like us. Hey, we increased our giving from our community by X%, let's say 40%, or we increased our giving by 50%, or we increased our giving by 100%. And they're going to look at that and see this matters to that community. Childcare is important. And so that is what I'm looking for. It's not so much that I need thousands and thousands of dollars today, it's that I need 40 donors. And that is going to be a big piece for us in the coming year of saying we went from having 26 donors to having, 65 donors. And being able to grow that number is going to be great. So that's what is so important about today, is just showing them that childcare is important and that the work we do matters to our communities.
Mm. Yeah, and so it's about growing that percentage of donors, not necessarily the budget or the amount of giving.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The last 2 years, I've never put a dollar amount on our Giving Tuesday campaign because that part really that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on showing the world that the work we do is important and that our community finds value in us.
Yeah, and those organizations that give those bigger dollar amounts, they're more likely to give us, funding or a
Yeah,
grant.
in thousands and thousands of dollars. And so your $1 becomes thousands and tens of thousands from other organizations so quickly if we have that increase.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah. And
Um,
partly that's why when partly that's why when we were looking at, I know we had talked about how much of our budget when we were budgeting this year, how much we wanted to have come from from individual donors. And it's a really small percent. It's less than 3% for MaineAEYC, and the average nonprofit is 10%. But our members are early childhood educators who are in the very bottom of the percentage of pay. And that's not something that we want to push for them. We don't want to ask them for more than they can really give because they're just trying to make ends meet. And so that's where that, $1 is great comes from, is maybe they can't give more than $1, but they become part of that percentage increase.
Yeah. They become, a voice saying this matters, and that voice helps get bigger donations. Yeah. And so another question that I certainly ask before I donate to an organization is, where does my money go? Like, what does it fuel and what does it do? And so I'm curious if you can talk about that.
I absolutely can. So the biggest chunk of our budget goes towards programming. So the biggest chunks are towards the 3 LEAP cohorts. We have one that is the LEAP alumni because they just couldn't get enough, and so they came back for a second round. We have a cohort of all immigrant women down in South Portland who are really working on getting their feet under them and making a huge change for their community and learning how to be advocates for themselves. Yeah, no,
And that's a bilingual program, right?
that is.
Yeah, okay. Is it Spanish and English, or is it Portuguese and English? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
That is a very good Heather question.
It's definitely one of those.
um and then we have our regular original LEAP cohort, where every year we pull in new early childhood educators and we get them to advocate, and we teach them how to best advocate for themselves and their community. So the biggest portion of this does go to programming. The second largest is our staff and making sure that, you and I are taken care of for the most part and have a paycheck every week. And then, but for the majority of it, the rest of it, the overhead is small and it's condensed within, I would say, 5 to 10%. 5 to 10% of our budget is just overhead. So the majority of funding goes towards the programs that we run. So we house MECO's finances. We are helping to create and build that up. We are housing Teach, and we just tripled the number of recipients almost. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
And then, and then we've got our 3 LEAP cohorts. We host and run the largest statewide early childhood education conference. And, we do that with our partners, but we do the bulk of that work. And so that's what this goes towards. And if you are like, I really want this money to go towards something, you can always ask. If that's something that really matters to you, that's something that I find really a lot of value in. So when giving, you can earmark, if you're like, I want to give $1,000, but I only want that to go towards Teach, because I really believe in early childhood educators getting a higher degree so they can better their lives. Great. I'm happy to make that as an earmark and put that into their budget and their bucket of funding.
Yeah. And for Teach, that would definitely have a pretty significant impact. $1,000
Yeah.
would fund a year of an associate's degree, I think, so that would create a whole scholarship spot for someone. What are some other things people could earmark money for if they wanted to?
Yeah. So one of the other things so what I earmark my money towards is our funding, to make sure that staff wages are equitable and fair and healthy. One of the other things that we had another donor that gave to LEAP. So she is a LEAP alum and wanted to make sure that LEAP is where her funding goes. So the LEAP program is There's 3 of them. We talked about that. And so she wanted to make sure that her money goes towards LEAP. But everybody else has been sort of just general, whatever you need, wherever that needs to go. And that's always useful, because if an opportunity comes up where we're sending people, so we just sent people down to Nashville for the National Association of Early Childhood Educators Conference. That's not what we call us.
NAEYC.
Yeah, the NAEYC. I wanted to use all the words because nobody knows what NAEYC means. So we just sent people down to the National Association for the Education of Young Children's national conference. And if we had had less funding, we might not have been able to send as many people. And so that was a great way for us to expand our professional development. If you want to, you could always earmark it for our, we're increasing our webinars and our professional development opportunities for our members and early childhood educators statewide. So if that's something that really interests you, if you want it to go towards LEAP, or if you're like, I just want kids to go play outside and MECO needs more money, great. We can absolutely push for that.
And I think right here, I'm going to plop an image. You're going to hear my voice over this image, but it's going to be the flow chart of why these things that Jesse's talking about, actually benefit children and families, because at the heart of what we do at MaineAEYC, it's always to benefit children. So we can talk about improving teacher wages and improving professional development, but that is a step towards improving the lives of children. So I'm going to have this flow chart and you can look at it. And it's also on our website. So I will link to that in the video description, but just look at this pretty graphic. Woo.
I hope that's what it says when you're.
That's exactly what it's going to say. I'm not cutting that out. Cool. So is there anything else you kind of want to share about why it's important to give, where your money goes, what Giving Tuesday is, anything related to this?
I mean, Giving Tuesday is one day. If you can't give on Giving Tuesday, we get that. It's Tuesday. Whatever. If you have an influx of money available to you next month on a random Thursday, that's still a great day to give to any organization, but particularly MaineAEYC. And so it doesn't just have to be on Giving Tuesday for the spirit of giving to strike. So at any point you can always give, and we will always be so very grateful for anything that can come through, just so that we can say that we've increased our donations and we've increased our impact within those communities. Ta-da.
Well, thank you so much, Jessie. I am going to put up right now our Giving Tuesday campaign graphic.
Awesome.
Our theme this year is Light the Path for Childcare. So we are asking you to become a light for childcare by giving any amount, and all donations received through the end of the day, December 1st, which is this Friday, will be counted towards this year's Giving Tuesday campaign. But like Jessie said, we are ready.
Every day is a good day.
Every day is a good day. There's also an option to become an annual donor or a monthly donor when you go to our donation page. So if
you want to have your business logo sponsor MaineAEYC, you can do that as well. If you are a business owner within our communities and you are like, these guys have a great reach, we hit somewhere between 10 and 15,000 people in our annual outreach over the course of the 12 months. And so if you want to become a corporate sponsor, if you want to become we called them our children's champions, we would be happy to talk about that. So I'll have Kailina add my email into this so that if you have questions about that, you can do that.
Awesome. Yeah. So individual donors can become a light for childcare. Corporate donors can become a children's champion, and we are all going to create a better path forward for childcare by contributing what we can in time, money, and other resources.
I love that.
Woo.
Yeah, and thank you for those who have given.
Yes, I think we've had how many of our
We're
out
at
of
8
40?
right now.
We've had 8 out of 40 out of one day of the 5 days of the campaign. So we're on target right now.
On target for our 40.
All right. Thank you
So
so
excited.
much, Jesse,
Thank
and to
you.
everyone who's given and to everyone who will give. We are so thankful for you contributing to our work.